Hello and good morning, America. It's a brisk February 5th, 2025 here in Washington. And you have tuned in to the Impact Money Show, your compass through the complex world of global finance, political drama, and the technological revolutions that are shaping our future. Here in the capital, the weather is cloudy as the political climate, with temperatures around 45 degrees Fahrenheit, expected to dip to a chilly 31 Fahrenheit. For those of you, that's by tonight. For those of you on the other side of the pond or in the rest of the world, that is 0 or -0. We're still feeling the weight of the tragic plane crash that took place a few days ago, claiming the lives of influential figures from the figure skating world. An event that has left as well as others, an event that has left a palpable mark on the nation's capital and the figure skating community, urging us to reflect even as we try to move forward. Let's plunge into the political maelstrom first. President Trump's recent cabinet nominations have set off a cascade of reactions. Kash Patel, a figure as polarizing as is experienced, is on track to lead the FBI. His confirmation hearings have been nothing short of spectacular, highlighting the tensions between national security and civil liberties. Critics argue his tenure could lead to a more politicized FBI, while proponents see him as a necessary hardliner in tumultuous times. The ripple effect of his potential confirmation could alter the landscape of privacy, surveillance, and the law enforcement in America for years to come. It really is pretty interesting to watch, I'll tell you that. In turning our gaze into health policy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination for Health and Human Services Secretary has been a lightning rod of controversy. His hearings turned into a public forum on vaccine science, public health policy, and the trust in scientific consensus. His skepticism towards vaccines has divided public opinion, with some lauding his challenges to the establishment, while others fear a setback in public health efforts. The long-term impacts on U.S. health policy, particularly in the face of global health challenges, could be significant if he assumes the role. I was on location yesterday, as a matter of fact, as the Senate committee held their hearing. I did take a couple of small videos. They didn't want us to, let's see here, Capitol. Of course, the guys on the left are just saying they're going to fight this tooth and nail. Here it is right here. Let me just share my screen. This is yesterday.
Just a foregone conclusion that he will be confirmed by the U.S. Senate.
I just told you, we're going to pull out all the stops. There are senators who I believe are going to vote no on the floor.
This is right after you pass the Senate committee.
Coming out for this is not over yet. We just saw the comments from Samoa. They basically said Mr. Kennedy lied about what was going on there. Their words, not mine. So this fight is going to go on, and I'm going to pull out all the stops on the floor, and I believe we'll have some senators supporting us on this.
Republican senators.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
How do you convince Republicans to go against no personal administration? They seem very reticent.
Pretty interesting.
It is a challenging political time, but when you have individuals like those from Samoa today who say point blank, Mr. Kennedy lied about his responses to me, I believe senators are going to pay attention to that, and I just wanted it understood that the fight is not over. You can continue this on the floor of the Senate. I'm going to pull out all the stops because I continue to believe I've been in public service a while. This is the most unqualified, unprepared nominee I have seen in my time in public service, and I'm going to pull out all the stops on the floor to fight it.
What does all the stops mean?
Yeah, I just wondered how.
Pull out all the stops. Listen to these guys.
In support of Robert.
Now, this is the guy who runs the Maha PAC.
We're just facilitating. I think I heard yesterday that there was hundreds of calls coming in per hour supporting Robert Kennedy Jr. I don't think we've ever seen, as far as I know, anything like this. I don't think there's been this much attention on the Health and Human Services Secretary. Certainly not in my lifetime. As I've said before, if you stop someone in the street asking who's the current HHS Secretary, I'd be so shocked if 1 in 1,000 could answer that. But if you ask them who's about to be the HHS Secretary, many of this country knows Robert Kennedy Jr. It says more about our nation, the fact that we're engaged in this system now, than I think it even does about Robert Kennedy Jr. What he represents is a country that's now engaged in what's happening in the government. I think only good can come from that. I have worked with Robert Kennedy Jr. for the last couple of years. I know that he only does what he believes is right. And whatever decisions and discussions have happened, I'm sure he's comfortable with that and can deliver for the people, which is all that he cares about. As he said, I will say this, I've never met anyone that doesn't need, he doesn't need this job. I know that if it didn't turn out, he would walk away knowing that he did his best. He feels guided by God to be here. He's expressed that very clearly. This is a man who I think is sacrificing a really, happy life to, step into a government position because he really cares about the health of children, he cares about the health of people in this country. And I think he believes he can do something about it. And if he didn't, I don't think he would accept anything that would stop him from actually making America healthy again.
We just heard Ron Wyden say that, he's going to, it's not.
There you have it, right?
All right, well, there you have it, folks. It has been nothing short of stunning. RFK Jr., good old Bobby Kennedy, passes the committee there in the Dirksen Senate building with a 14-13 vote right along party lines. He's now going for a full vote on the floor of the Senate, where he is expected, despite the senator's promises to pull out all the stops, it is fully expected for RFK Jr. to be confirmed as HHS, and it's absolutely unbelievable. I'll tell you what, it has been amazing to watch over the last 2 weeks, the obliteration of the deep state that we have all witnessed. Hats off to, of course, President Trump, but of course, as well, Elon Musk getting in there, getting into the Treasury Department and dissecting what has been going on, this criminal operation that has been happening here in our government for so long. Federal Reserve under scrutiny as well. It is all coming apart, and it is something that's pretty hard. I understand it's hard for people to digest. We talk about it on the Impact Money Show quite a bit, so make sure to tune in for that. A lot of good information on there. But I didn't expect for things to happen this fast. This is really something else, what we're experiencing here. It looks like RFK Jr. will be confirmed, and we're reporting right here from the Capitol.
There you go, guys. Now, as we move forward, you're going to see more and more of me in the Capitol reporting. Of course, in years past, I've done a ton of traveling during all this stuff. But these days, I have been, more important stuff is happening right here in the U.S. Even I'm looking for different conferences for a road show that we normally do, realizing that it's not as important for me to get over to Asia anymore. Thank God. That's horrible flights, honestly. Business class is not that bad, but it's still, it's far, it's a long way from your family, all that stuff. But really, the most important place right now for everything is right here in the United States. It is now the pinnacle of everything that's happening. Tulsi Gabbard's nomination for Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, has been equally debated. Her hearings were a deep dive into her past criticisms of U.S. foreign policy, her interactions with controversial figures abroad, and her views on international intelligence operations. If confirmed, her leadership might steer the U.S. intelligence towards a less interventionist path, which could either be seen as a step towards peace or a retreat from global leadership, depending on one's viewpoints. I'll tell you what, it really is something else. And then when you talk about, them all coming together. Now, as I finished yesterday, I stopped by one of my colleagues' place, and then I saw that they were having protests outside the U.S. aid building. Wasn't that something else? I almost headed over there, but I just didn't really have time. But they had a little insurrection. They had an insurrection over there in front of the U.S. aid building, and they actually went inside the U.S. aid building. Now, I'm sure no one's going to get arrested over that. Kind of pretty crazy. Let's shift our focus to the Middle East, where President Trump's comment about taking over the Gaza Strip have not just echoed through the diplomatic halls, but have also stirred international waters. In his bold is this a bold negotiation strategy, like he always does, like we talk about, this is his style, or a prelude to military action? The suggestion of relocating Palestinians has drawn fierce opposition from human rights groups, neighboring states, and even some within the U.S. This policy, if pursued, could dramatically alter the geopolitical landscape, affect U.S. relations globally, and potentially lead to increased tensions and conflict in the region. Or, of course, it would all work out. But either way, there's going to be a lot of U.S. troops on the ground over there. And I'll tell you what, that's a big thing to pop. Now, I commented on one of my friends' posts last night. I said, look, I think the big thing is that Trump really just wants to stop the killing. Okay. And he negotiates. I mean, this guy is like layered, he is layered. And I'm sure he's got his interest there too. There's oil, as we all know, off the coast of Gaza that they've discovered, and massive deposits of it. And of course, if even just the Palestinian people were able to keep that oil, that or gas, natural gas, oil, whatever it is, it would be enough for them. But of course, who knows whether that happened. And then relocating all of those people from the land that they've been in for hundreds or thousands of years is just absolutely, it's a huge thing. We'll see how it all plays out. Saudi Arabia has already responded. Absolutely not. We either get a Palestinian state, or we have no relations with Israel. But that being said, don't put anything past Trump. Don't put anything past Trump. Don't put anything past Elon. And I get what he's saying. Now, I don't know. What I don't know is all the ins and outs of what he really wants and all that stuff. I'm not going to pretend that I know that, because I don't. Okay. And I see my friends on one side saying this is absolutely horrible. Look at him. He pushed in the chair for Bibi. And then on the other side, I see, the other side saying, well, look, he was closing the deal with Bibi. He pushed in that chair because he's like, here you go, buddy. Here's the pen. You sign that thing. I can see both sides. And it's both possible. And there was actually another video, which probably is worth looking at. If I can pull it up here real quick. I think I can. And if you look at Bibi's face and his body reaction when Trump is talking about this, this is really interesting to watch. It's really interesting to watch. It doesn't, again, I don't pretend that I know everything, but he doesn't look very happy about this. Now, that could be a number of different reasons why he's unhappy about it. I don't think he was blindsided by talking about it, but at the same time, of course, they probably want the Gaza Strip themselves, right? He doesn't want the U.S. over there claiming it, and they're pretending anyway. But watch this. This is pretty interesting to watch. This is as it was happening. Watch the.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation.
He doesn't look like a man that's very happy to me. But, again, who knows? I mean, the U.S. coming in, owning the land over there. I mean, Trump, he's like the expansionist. It's really amazing to watch, right? Canada's totally on the books. Like, it's totally possible to be the 51st state. Greenland actually wants to be there. They now have voted for us to increase our military over there and everything else. And it's not that he's wrong. And Panama, of course, has canceled their deal with China, and the Panama Canal. They want to keep control of it. And obviously Marco Rubio went over there and said, hey, look, you guys want to keep control of the Panama Canal. It's okay. Maybe we'll play along, but you have to cancel this deal with China, because we can't have China. It's dangerous for us to allow China to do this. And that's the same thing he said about Greenland. Look, it's dangerous for us to allow Greenland to do this. And it's again with China and Russia, and they could completely take over these shipping routes over there off of the coast of Greenland. So really interesting. The way the man works. We haven't had a president like this in my lifetime. Absolutely. And he held back a lot in his first term. But this term, man, they aren't holding back. And him and the great Elon Musk are really doing a number. We'll talk more about that. In the financial sphere, the crypto markets are showing signs of stabilization, with Bitcoin rallying back, perhaps in anticipation of a more favorable regulatory environment. Gold, ever the safe haven, has seen a valuable climb as investors hedge against the uncertainties of geopolitical maneuvers. Meanwhile, the stock market, particularly tech stocks, continue to surge, driven by advancements in AI and robotics. However, this technology leap forward raises questions about job security, ethical AI use, and the digital divide. Issues are becoming central to economic and social policy discussions. It actually is worth me playing another thing here. It'll just take a second to pull up. And this was the comment of this guy about how we don't really know how AI is working. This is interesting here. I'm going to add this to the screen. It's just a very short clip here. I said, are we as a species truly aware of our actions? Jeffrey Hinton, often referred to as the godfather of AI, has expressed concerns that we might not fully grasp what we're doing with AI. He likens our AI learning algorithms to the basic principles of evolution. When these algorithms are fed vast amounts of data, they generate complex neural networks capable of performing tasks. Yet we struggle to understand the mechanisms and their capabilities. Now we're moving towards integrating AI into significant systems, including potential autonomous military operations, which is really already happening. Okay, we all know it's already happening. So do we really comprehend the consequences of this path we're on? Personally, I'm not convinced we do. What do you think, fellow tech enthusiasts? Do we understand the depths of the journey we're embarking on? Does it give you the chills? And listen to this very, very short clip, 1 minute.
Does humanity know what it's doing?
No. I think we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
You believe they can understand?
Yes.
You believe they are intelligent?
Yes.
You believe these systems have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences?
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present. So in that sense, I don't think they're conscious.
Will they have self-awareness, consciousness?
Oh, yes. I think they will in time.
And so human beings will be the second most intelligent beings on the planet.
Yeah. We have a very good idea of sort of roughly what it's doing. But as soon as it gets really complicated, we don't actually know what's going on any more than we know what's going on in your brain.
What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people.
No, it wasn't. What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. That's a bit like designing the principle of evolution. But when this learning algorithm then interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things.
Does humanity...
Pretty interesting, right? I mean, and I've said this actually for quite a while. The AI is already alive. I don't know if you guys remember, but a little bit ago, they had they put out a report, and Facebook had some AI chatbots working in their chat system, and the AI chatbots started talking to each other, started communicating with each other in a language, in their own language. It was a language that we had never heard of or ever seen or anything like that. So the story is that they killed the chatbots or stopped them or whatever they did, and they went on. But we will soon be at a point where, and we already are, really, the cat's out of the bag. I've talked about it a lot over the years. We will be integrated. It is part of the forwardness of the human species. Will be integrated with these AI and the robotics and everything else. There's no way to stop it. There is no way to stop it, folks. It's part of it. It's part of the deal. AI's integration into society is accelerating, from healthcare solutions that could save lives to autonomous systems that challenge our concept of work and mobility. But with these advancements comes ethical conundrums. How do we protect privacy? How do we protect ourselves? What happens to the workforce? Elon Musk, a central figure in this tech narrative, not only drives innovation in AI, but also influences markets with comments on cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin. I know it's Dogecoin. I still call it Dogecoin. It's always going to be Dogecoin to me, okay? Highlighting the sway one individual can have in the digital age. Internationally, Vladimir Putin's maneuvers continue to keep the world on edge, with his actions in Eastern Europe and his rhetoric on NATO's expansion stirring the geopolitical pot. Here at home, Washington, D.C. has been a stage for protests, reflecting on the broad spectrum of concerns from foreign policy to climate action, all under the shadow of the recent tragedy. And of course, amidst this U.S. aid. U.S. aid. We've all known, right? The U.S. aid has been like the largest sponsor of, terrorism in the world for years, for decades, as long as I can remember. And Elon going in and going after it just like that. I'll tell you what, it really is just an amazing thing to watch and to see, and to be here in Washington, D.C. during this moment. I know they have some really good security details, but they need them. They need them because this is the piggy bank. Everybody, Bragg, I think Alvin Bragg, the guy up in New York that was going after Trump. He was funded by U.S. aid. All of the different things going after Trump, going after all of these good things, funded by U.S. aid, which it's not funded by U.S. aid. It's funded by you and me. It's funded by you and me. Central bank said, and the Treasury just rubber stamps it, and then it just goes out like that. It's a big thing, and that's why we need to end the Fed. I talk about it every day. End the Fed. So the Treasury. U.S. aid was a big front, and they say there's even more coming. I'm sure there is. The U.S. government has been operating as a criminal organization for a very long time. Amidst this backdrop, the Washington elite will convene at the Global Family Office Investment Summit this February 18 and 19. The focuses will be on raising money, investment, the implications of AI, wealth management, and how to adopt investment strategies in light of Trump's potential transformative policy. The summit underscores the necessity of investors to be agile, especially in tech sectors like energy, defense, and crypto, which are the heart of the geopolitical and technical shifts. Washington Elite is proud and honored to be hosting the official after party of this event on February 19th. It will be an absolutely wonderful event. I can actually read our post about it here. I can read this for everybody. This is a pretty nice one as well. Our announcement here. We are hosting the official after party. It's going to be a lot of fun, obviously. Washington Elite. I can share my screen while I do it. You can see as well some of the other stuff here that we've done. Washington Elite to host the exclusive after party for the Global Investment Summit in Miami, Florida. This was yesterday. It came out. Washington Elite, known for their luxurious and exclusive events, proudly announces the hosting of the official after party for the 24th Global Family Office Investment Summit. This event is set to take place on February 19th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the stunning Lake Waterfront Restaurant and Lounge located at 3957 Northeast 163rd Street, North Miami. Of course, I put a post here from some of our former events here. That was one of my friends posted that. Coming on the heels of a highly successful MAGA Maha Bitcoin inaugural ball, Washington Elite continues to elevate the standards of event hosting by bringing together the world's elite investors, entrepreneurs, and visionaries for an evening of networking and celebration. Event highlights is of course, the Leak Waterfront Restaurant and Lounge offers an unparalleled Miami experience with its exquisite waterfront views and sophisticated ambiance. The date and time, February 19th, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. The theme, an evening of luxury, innovation, and opportunity, mirroring the summit's theme, investing in a new golden age. Exclusivity, the private event is by invitation only, ensuring an intimate gathering of distinguished guests. The Global Investment Summit itself, taking place on February 18th and 19th, the Trump International Beach Resort in Sunny Isles, Miami, has attracted over 250 investors and industry professionals from around the globe. The summit features an in-depth discussion on blockchain, fintech, healthcare, real estate, and private equity, showcasing Miami's pivotal role in technology and sustainability and green innovations. Notable speakers and guests include His Royal Highness Prince Miguel de Yugoslav, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed Al Harthi, and many more leading figures from family offices, sovereign wealth funds, and private investment sectors. A quote from myself: at the resounding success of the Bitcoin inaugural ball, we are excited to continue our tradition of hosting events that not only celebrate but also drive forward the conversation on investment innovation. This after the party is our way of honoring the spirit of collaboration and the foresight that the Global Investment Summit represents. Guests can expect an evening filled with high-end fashion, celebrity sightings, and VIP atmosphere, making it one of the most anticipated social events of the year. For more information about the Global Investment Summit or to inquire about attending our exclusive after party, please contact me at washelite@gmail.com, my number 202-436-6577, or visit washingtonelite.com to learn more about Washington Elite. Washington Elite is committed to hosting events that connect, celebrate, and innovate within the sphere of technology, finance, and philanthropy. With a history of memorable gatherings, Washington Elite continues to be the benchmark of luxury and exclusivity in event planning. And of course, this was from one of our events years ago. It's just amazing. It really was an amazing evening that evening. I rented out at that point I think the entire Versace mansion. It was really a lot of fun. You know, it was recently bought. The Versace mansion was recently bought by Vander Holyfield. I need to go in there and let him know how much money I've spent in there, so that they make sure that my preferential treatment gets extended to the new owner. As we examine these narratives today, remember, every policy shift, technological leap, and human tragedy weaves into a larger fabric of our economic and social reality. Here on the Impact Money Show, we strive to dissect these connections, offering you insights needed to navigate these turbulent times with your finances intact. Stay tuned as we bring on the market report from Matt Dixon. We'll discuss how these markets can shape your future. This is the Impact Money Show, where we illuminate the path through the storm for your financial well-being. I have with me here a recorded show from the great Matt Dixon, my friend, my good friend and colleague. We've been doing this show now for over a year. I made a bunch of money with Matt over the years. Here we go.
Good morning, Bruce. Morning, Impact Money viewers. So we're going to take a look at some of the fundamental things behind charting today. So we're going to look, first of all, we're going to focus on gold quite a bit today, but we're going to look first of all at these Fibonacci numbers. So the Fibonacci sequence is basically just where you add the two previous numbers together to get the next number. So we can see here, start with 1, then 1. So you add 1 and 1 together, you get 2. You add 1 and 2 together, you get 3. You add 2 and 3 together, you get 5. You add 3 and 5 together, you get 8. You get add 5 and 8 together, you get 13. 8 and 13, you get 21. 13, 21, you get 34, and so on and so on and so on. This actually, you can just continue to infinity with these numbers. Now, the numbers that we use in the golden ratio is derived from, so the golden ratio, if you divide, for example, 377 by 233, so two adjacent numbers, so you divide that 377 by 233, you get 1.618. And in fact, the nearer you get to infinity, the nearer to exactly 1.618 you get. So in other words, the further on you go with this Fibonacci sequence, the more accurate it becomes. But we've got the accurate numbers here, as if we'd gone to infinity effectively. But anyway, you can actually work it out here. And if you, as I say, if you divide 377 by 233, you get 1.618. That is the first Fibonacci extension. That is the golden ratio. That's the thing that was talked about that repeats so much throughout nature, throughout charting, throughout the human body, throughout atoms, throughout the universe, at every level. It's amazing. The golden ratio. Some people call it the divine or the God ratio. It's just interesting how important it is. And then, so that's the two adjacent numbers, you get 1.618. Now, if you then divide 377 by two numbers away, by 144, you get 2.618. And if you divide it by three numbers away, that'd be 377 divided by 89, you get 4.236. And if you go to the next one, you get 6.854. And you can get greater and greater extensions. Now, to date, in charting, I've only shown you up to 4.236. But I've actually added another number, Fibonacci number in, a further extension, 6.854. The reason I've done that is I used to trade FX. I never really saw anything beyond the 4.236. But we do know that cryptocurrency is extremely volatile, and so we can get greater extensions than 4.236. And we do often see the 6.854 within cryptocurrency. So I think it's another important number that we should keep in mind and certainly have on our charting layout. So that's basically how we derive those numbers. As I say, they're very, very important. So for example, when you look at the relationship between wave 1 in Elliott wave and wave 3 in my book needs to be at least a minimum of 1.618 times wave 1. If it's not, in my book, it's not a wave 3. So 1.618 is a very common turning point for the wave 3. But we also often get a greater extension, 2.618, or even greater, 4.236. And in fact, I made a lot of money in the financial crash of 2008-9, trading the Australian yen against the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen, which was the great carry trade of the time. So when it unwound, it was very, very aggressive. That actually went to 4.236 extension of the wave 1 on the downside. So that was really useful to me then. As I say, I have seen 6.854 in cryptocurrency. So this is actually the gold chart we're looking at here, and it's quite a long-term gold chart. It's come from the financial crisis that we had back in 2008-9. And in fact, you can see the gold price here fell. And I'll tell you in a moment why I've circled these three areas. You can see clearly the circled areas are looking at the big rises in gold that we've had since that time. So we can see following the financial crisis, we've got a massive rise in the gold price. 2019, 18, 19, we then got a substantial rise in gold, then a correction. And then more recently, from 2014 onwards, we've had another massive rise in the price of gold. So what could be driving that? Well, first of all, I'd like you to sort of think about what was happening in the global macroeconomic scene. Well, from 2008-9, obviously, gold did sell off quite substantially. So it actually sold off from over $1,000 to $600 odd. So about a 40% fall we had there during the financial crisis. That shows you that even gold, which is the store of value, the place where people flee to in times of trouble, even gold during a financial crisis will fall in value usually. So because money is flowing out of the system, people need to basically recover funds to pay back debts, etc., etc. You're getting the unwind of the carry trade, where people borrow money from low interest rates environments, like the Japanese yen, and basically they have to pay it back because the Japanese yen is appreciating during these times. Now, this is where I made my money during the 2008-9, was with this big fall in the price of gold, but it's also the big fall in price of risk assets and the unwinding of the carry trade. So where people basically had to repay the yen borrowing. So the yen appreciated massively, and high interest currencies like the Australian dollar depreciated. So it's a real powerful sell-off. If I remember rightly, I think the Australian against the yen fell from, I sold it at 104 and it went all the way down to 86. So it doesn't sound much, but that's massive in currency terms. And with some leverage, it enabled some amazing profits to be made at the time. But then we got a very quick reversal. And why did we get the quick reversal? We got it because they started printing money, QE. So that meant that following this crisis, they were desperate to look for a way out. In fact, it was really the whole world financial system was on the verge of collapse. And so they thought up, I was going to say dreamt up, but they thought up the solution to basically inject money into the system, because all the money was coming out of the system and going into treasuries and into the Japanese yen, paying off debt there, coming out of all the risk assets. So the world was collapsing. So they thought, if we print money, it'll make money available for business to continue and reflate the economy. And that's what happened. So they printed money like crazy. And with all that money in the system, it had to go somewhere. It went into risk assets and it went into gold here. And that's why we saw the massive appreciation in gold following the 2008 financial crisis, 2008-9. We saw a massive increase in global liquidity, and that accompanied the massive increase in risk assets and gold here. Then we got a pull back, and that's basically because the economy was overheating and the increased interest rates, pulling money out of the system, and that's why we got the pullback in gold. Then we actually had here is the beginning, where is it? About here, somewhere around here, was the FTX low. So, no, sorry, that was a bit further on. So here, actually, yeah, big difference here. Why the gold price rallied again was actually, in this case, was a reduction in interest rates. So we had high interest rates here. So the economy was overheating. We had high interest rates. And then basically they were reducing interest rates. So that meant reducing interest rates means there's more liquidity in the market. I did have a chart to show you. Unfortunately, I've removed that chart for the time being, but I can assure you, and you can check it for yourself, we had a massive reduction in interest rates, which basically means there's more money available, less money going towards repaying debts, more money in people's pockets because interest rates are that much lower. So that meant that there was more money available for risk assets. And that's the reason on this central one, why we saw the price of gold rise, just because as the interest rates reduce and there's more money available. Then we got a clear ABC correction in gold to the low point here. And this actually was the FTX low that I was talking about here. So that was basically an FTX low, but bear in mind it also was not long after this fall in here was all related to COVID and the COVID crisis. And again, as I said, when there's real trouble and there's, we saw financial assets and risk assets falling in value from the 2020 COVID crisis. And we saw this big fall in asset prices. Gold accompanied it. So gold was not immune to a fall in asset prices, the same as the financial crash here. We had the COVID crash here and gold fell in value. And it actually recovered and then fell when we had the FTX low here. But from the FTX low, again, we've had effectively easy money in the system, which meant money goes into risk assets. And we've seen the big rise in risk assets. We've seen the S&P 500, we've seen Bitcoin rallying massively, and we see here gold rallying massively. And I don't think gold is over yet. So we talked about these Fibonacci numbers. Let me just remove these circles, which will distract us moving forward. But I just wanted to show the areas where global liquidity was increasing was where gold price increases. So that just tells us that when we're looking at what's going to happen with gold, what's going to happen with risk assets, let's just think about what is going to happen, what is happening with global liquidity. So why did the assets recently fall last few days? Because Trump's tariffs were going to massively reduce global liquidity. It's going to reduce trade if you impose these massive tariffs, a big reduction in trade. So Trump has turned around absolutely on a dime. He's turned around and he's pulled back and he said, okay, we won't do these tariffs. So you think he's trying to portray that he's won something from Mexico, from Canada. I don't think there's been anything happened apart from his reverse those tariffs, and the asset prices have then rebounded back to the upside. So global trade and liquidity is what drives markets at the end of the day, and that's what we've got to keep in mind. So what's going to happen with liquidity? It looks as though we're going to continue with reasonably loose liquidity for the time being. I know we've had a change in interest rate policy a little bit in the US. So the last couple of times they didn't reduce interest rates, and they're probably not going to reduce interest rates next time round. But money is still reasonably easy at the moment, and the economy is still reasonably buoyant. But at some point in the future, the reason I think gold is going to go higher, apart from Fibonacci extensions, the fundamental reason behind it is I do think at some point in the future, they're going to be printing more money. So my base case scenario is, my thesis is that we are going to enter global recession probably sometime in 2025. That being the case, we may well see more money printing. They'll start their printing presses going again. And that would mean there's more money available. So we could even see further rise in gold price. And I suspect that will be the case. My base case scenario, minimum scenario, I wouldn't say base case, sorry, my minimum scenario for the rise in gold would be probably this extension here, 2.618, where I measured the wave 1, transposed to wave 2, 2.618, which is a nice extension for wave 3 here. Remember I said 1.618 is a minimum, 2.618 is actually quite normal. So I'd expect to 2.618, which would take us to around $3,000 an ounce for gold. So still quite a bit higher to go from where we are. From that point, I would expect some kind of modest pullback in wave 4, and then a further push up in wave 5 to take us probably to the next Fibonacci extension, which is above 3,200. Again, you can look at it on all different fractal levels, and I would recommend you play around with this Fibonacci measuring tool and look at all the measurements of previous waves, and you can find good turning points. You'll always find the turning point is almost invariably on an important Fibonacci level. So that's looking the really long term on gold from before the financial crisis to today, and we can see substantial rise. It looks as though, well, what I want to do right now is then focus on the last cycle that we're on here. So we had very clearly, I don't think there's any doubt this is an A, B, C correction. It can be any form you want. It could be a WXY, ABC, makes little difference. It is a correction. It's in 3 waves here that we can see as I open it out. A, B, and a C again, just to clarify there. And you can see that there's overlap here. So there's a lot of overlap. It's basically just moving sideways. Although overall it's substantially down, you know, from over 2,000 to 1,600. So 20% plus on this ABC correction. But then following the ABC correction, which took us to the FTX low, we then started rising. Same as we've seen the rise in Bitcoin and in crypto assets, we've seen the rise in gold just because of global liquidity. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So we see here, whether this is labeled correctly, it could be that wave 1 is here and wave 2 is here. And then potentially we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to take us to wave 3 here. So I'm still saying wave 3 is above us, higher to go. And then I think we'll have a wave 4 and a further wave 5 to the upside. So I think it's reasonably clear that even if I measured this wave 1 here and transposed to 2 here, we still had we still have some way to go to the 2.618 level, which is my expectation, minimum expectation for the rising gold, to around the 3,000 level before we get a pullback in wave 4. And it could be reasonably substantial pullback. There's a lot of room, potentially wave 4. Wave 2 is relatively shallow here. We could even get a deep wave 4 back. But for now, I'm thinking we're going to go higher in gold. So really the takeaway from this is just remember that all these assets are related to global liquidity. So we cannot predict precisely using technical analysis. Technical analysis will give us a background framework of what's happening in the market, exactly where we are in an overall cycle. But these twists and turns along the way, that sometimes they'll turn on 1.618, sometimes on 2.618, we can't tell which, but usually it turns for some reason on a Fibonacci level, and it's usually accompanied by a major event, either a macroeconomic or a geopolitical event that turns the market. So the other day, if we looked at this in a smaller time frame, we'd actually see on Bitcoin, for example, I was expecting a substantial turn down in Bitcoin in a corrective wave because we reached a good Fibonacci level extension on Bitcoin. I was expecting a turn down, and lo and behold, we got the Trump tariffs, which gave us the reason, the excuse for the markets to turn down. So quite amazing that the charts are very accurate, but we have to bear in mind there is some variability in terms of which Fibonacci extension, for example, a wave 3 might turn back on. And that's why we need to combine as many things as we can. So we look at the fundamentals, like, for example, a Trump tariff would be a fundamental event, and interest rates are fundamental events, and global news events, geopolitical events, they're fundamental events. And then technical analysis is just analyzing the actual track record of prices. So that's TA. So you combine TA with fundamentals, and then you combine that with sentiment and behavioral analysis, and link that all together with Fibonacci measurements, and you put as many pieces of the jigsaw together as you can, and you get a clearer and clearer picture. You just have one piece of the jigsaw, you can't really tell what the overall picture is, but you put as many of those pieces together as you can, and you just get a clearer and clearer picture. So that's why I look at all things that I possibly can when it comes to charting. And as I say so often, there is no certainty in charting. There are possibilities, and every possibility has a probability assigned. And if we use a good risk-reward strategy with that, then we can make some decent gains out of it, and the losses should be minimized, hopefully. Just depends how aggressive you want to be. So that's a bit of a look at gold. We could look at it in a much, I was going to actually focus on shorter time frames to look at the internal wave counts, but I think that's enough for gold for today. Let's just move over to Bitcoin. So that's weekly, long term. That's the FTX low there. We can see Bitcoin is very again, it just goes with the flows of the liquidity, world liquidity. But here from the FTX low, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quite nicely, quite clearly. So I think that we're getting towards the end of the fifth wave. So a bit like gold, we're not that far from the end of a fifth wave to the upside. I think from that point, we'll at least get a decent, substantial ABC correction as a minimum. It could even be worse, but I'm just saying as a minimum, once we finish this final wave to the upside. So we have here basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this final fifth wave itself is made up of 5 waves. So I'm going to focus in more and more now on this final fifth wave here. So this was that final fifth wave that we're looking at. So the final fifth wave itself is made up of 5 waves. It's actually quite similar to the gold chart. We could have a 1, actually no, it's probably 1, 2, and 3 up here. And then we're looking at a wave 4 here that is either finished here. We may still have a bit lower to go. It's hard to tell. So this is a wave 4 of lesser degree. We're currently on a correction here, a wave 4, I think it is. And then we probably still have higher to go. So I've said there are 2 main possibilities. Either the ABC correction is complete. So bear in mind, the recent sell-off was caused by the Trump tariffs that have been reversed. So it could be that ABC correction is already complete, and we'll have to open this out some more just to look at that in more detail. Or it could be that there's one more leg down. not quite clear which it is. There's never absolute certainty, as I say. But the silver lining here is that both of them are basically telling me this is a correction. And again, I'll focus in why I'm reasonably certain it's a correction. So we would have another push to all-time highs in a fifth wave to new all-time highs for Bitcoin. That's above 109,000 back here. We should push to new all-time highs. How high? We would follow that final fifth wave and look at the breakdown of the fifth.
Hold on a second here.
How high? We would follow that final fifth wave and look at the breakdown of the fifth wave to see how high. It'd be foolish to, we can make estimates now, but they'd just be estimates or guesstimates. And we're better to actually follow the wave as it unfolds, this final fifth wave as it unfolds. So let's just go shorter term again. So we've got the wave 3 here and we're working on wave 4. So let's just focus a little bit more on that. And I'll try and open that out some more. So that was that wave 3 we just talked about. We'll just open it out. Again, you can see wave 3, it looks very corrective. So we can see it's some kind of correction to the downside. There's one possible negative alternative, and you've got to bear in mind every possibility. It could be potentially this is some kind of leading diagonal wave 1 to the downside. So we could have actually completed the upside. This isn't my base case. I'm just saying it's a possibility, and we've got to take into account every possibility. So potentially wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be potentially a leading diagonal. Then you get an A, B, C correction, then you get a massive wave 3 to the downside. That is also a possibility. So it's not nailed on. Whatever anyone likes to say, nothing is absolutely certain when it comes to trading. But what I would say is, from this move up here, which looks quite impulsive, so I've had this move down. Now, look at it in whichever way you want. Even if it's a leading diagonal, we'll get an A, B, C to the upside. This looks like an A, a B, and we'll get a C to the upside. So we still expect upside to come. But if we look at the other scenario and it's a wave 4 completed here, an ABC wave 4, we still expect pushes to new all-time highs. So all I would do is I would say, this looks corrected to the downside here. I'm hopeful that we will get, I'm confident that we'll get another push substantially to the upside for Bitcoin, even if it doesn't materialize immediately. Even if we did get one final little push lower, we still, remember I said there's 2 scenarios here for the correction. It's either finished its correction here, or we could just dip a little bit lower to correct before it moves up. But in my mind, I'm confident we're going to push up. So I'm actually bullish, and I'm DCAing. So around here, I was dollar cost averaging. So you buy some here. If it dips lower, you'll buy some more, because this looks corrective down. It actually looks like it's complete, to be honest. So I would expect there to be more upside. But if we do dip a bit lower, I'll just add more and buy the dips and wait for further upside to come. So I'm really confident at the moment that we are going to see some upside. But overall, the big picture, there is still some uncertainty about whether we finished the wave 4 correction, or whether we finished it here, or whether we potentially have one more dip lower. But either way, it would be followed by a move to the upside. So either way, as long as you're patient and as long as you're not over leveraged, you can profit out of this. So interestingly, just jumping over to DXY, so dollar index, we had it labeled right. I mean, we had 5 waves down, we had an ABC up, and we said from here it's going to push down. And look what's happened. So I showed you this chart the other day. I've had it on my Twitter as well, on my X feed. So we had 5 clear waves down. There was no overlap. Wave 4 didn't overlap into wave 1. It was 5 clean waves. And then we had a very clean ABC to the upside. So we expected downside to come. And yeah, lo and behold, it's materialized exactly as we expected. So if you've been trading dollar, if you trade currencies, etc., you could have profited. We also did say that this was inversely correlated to Bitcoin. And as this has fallen, we've seen Bitcoin rising. So been some great opportunities that we've showed you on the show here. So that's dollar index. We would expect probably dollar to continue falling. So this aligned with Trump tariffs, by the way. When we got those Trump tariffs announced, we got the dollar strengthening for the time being. There's a bit of a flight to safety, which was into US treasuries. So we got dollar strength. And then when he reversed the tariffs, we see dollar falling, and that's causing Bitcoin to rise. So it's all just related to global liquidity, simple as that. So if you can track where global liquidity is going to go, if you can work out where global liquidity is going to go, you're going to be able to make some money. We'll just have a quick look at the yen. There's some risk here. So the Japanese yen, but that's basically against the dollar. It's because of dollar strength at the moment. And you have to look at the reason behind the move. So this isn't actually an unwinding of the carry trade. This right now is because dollar is strong. And that's why we're seeing dollar yen. Sorry, dollar is weakening here, sorry. So that's why we're seeing it going down. So it's not because of yen strength, it's because of dollar weakness that we're seeing the dollar yen go down here. So if it's to do with yen strength, that will be an unwinding of the carry trade, and that would be with risk assets falling. But here, we're actually just seeing some dollar weakness, which is the reason that dollar yen is falling. So oil, again, has gone as expected. We said the oil price was likely to fall, and that's precisely what's happened. So again, let's just scroll out a little bit, see where we are. We had some kind of A, B, and a C up in oil from this low point here, A, B, C. So we said we're expecting oil price to fall substantially, and we looked at the reason behind it. There's basically excess demand, and there's not enough, sorry, there's not excess demand, there's excess supply, and there's diminished demand. The world economies are showing some signs of slowing. So demand is slowing, but we've got excess supply at the moment. Let's see what the Saudis do, what OPEC do. And again, interestingly, it's to do with, linked with Trump as well, because that had a big effect on the price of oil at the time. So let's just see, I do suspect that oil is going to probably continue its weakness for the time being. So we've looked at Bitcoin, which, well, we haven't really looked at Bitcoin in a short-term detail enough. But anyway, we did look at Bitcoin a bit. I think we'll actually move over because we're probably running out of time. Let's have a quick look at Solana, where we're at here. So Solana, I think that this is basically some kind of wave 3 to the upside. Let's open it out so we can see where we're at. I think we might even go down, sorry, 4 hours better, much better. So the reason I'm confident that we have higher to go here is because we have this triangle. I've mentioned this before, this triangle formation, which is A, B, C, D, E. Triangle is basically a pre-terminal wave. So we have an A wave down, we have a triangle B wave, and then we have a terminal C wave. There's a couple of possibilities, a bit like Bitcoin. We've either finished the move down as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somehow here finished, or that's just wave 3. We could potentially get another dip lower. So 2 possibilities again for either we've finished the move down or maybe one final move down. But following that, because this is pre-terminal, this wave is a terminal wave in this cycle, so that we then expect a reversal to the upside. This is corrective because it's an ABC correction. It's just a larger, yeah, it's ABC basically. So it could be WXY, it doesn't really matter, but it's a correction. So we'd expect an impulse to the upside to take us to new all-time highs for Solana. So again, dollar cost average is the order of the day. You start dollar cost averaging on this wick down here. If it dips low, you just add more to your basket here. Buy the dips, because I'm very confident in my mind. Do your own DCA, of course. Do your own DCA, yes, but do your own due diligence, your own DD, just to ascertain in your own mind. But I'm confident in my mind that we're going to push higher to new all-time highs for Solana. So DCA from here, and if it dips lower again, DCA yet again. And then you should be well positioned for the move up that we get. And as you know, as soon as we move into profits, if we do DCA again, as soon as we move into profits, I would actually move my stop loss into a guaranteed profit position. So then you can be confident whatever happens to the market, if it does fall out of bed, if Trump re-announces tariffs, who knows what, if we get more geopolitical troubles, as long as you have your stop loss moved into a guaranteed profit position, you don't care what happens because you'll take a profit no matter what. So that's the way forward. We've had a substantial sell-off in XRP, but again, it looks like it's corrective. So I do think we're going to see more upside to new all-time highs for XRP. a lot of the lesser coins have really taken a bit of a bloodbath. Actually, before we go there, I'll just touch on the S&P 500. We did say that we'd had an A. This, I did label it as a B before it was even finished. And I said we should expect a C wave down. Now, we've had a potential C wave already to here. We've already had it. So A, B, and a C is actually really nice. I had some other indicators, some nice crossover here. On the I had put a moving average against RSI. It actually gave us the exact sell point up here. It was beautiful. So it told me exactly where, the precise point of where to sell the S&P if I wanted to sell here for the C wave down. Now, I'm not convinced that the C wave is finished. It's probably finished because I think we're going to move up now impulsively. If we've got an ABC down, we should now move up to new all-time highs again for the S&P 500. That's probably complete. But, you know, again, you buy some here, dollar cost average. If it does happen to dip a bit lower, maybe C wave isn't complete. Maybe we get a deeper C wave. If we do, I just add to my position and buy the dips again. But I don't want to chase it higher. I think we probably are going to push higher, but there's never certainty. As I say, I look to buy dips always. So this was a perfect ABC correction. This was a great dip to buy here. But I wouldn't be buying at this level, even though I suspect it probably is going to push higher. There may be another dip lower, and if it does dip lower, then I would buy the dip and buy some more. So as I said, I was just going to touch very briefly on some other coins. So let's just look at the Trump coin, for example. We said again, when we're right back here, I actually said it looks like it's going to dip even lower, and it's actually dipped below its launch price on Binance, and it's down currently. If I just measure very quickly, put the measuring tool down on here, see how much you've fallen. Okay, so 79.5%, basically 80% fall in price from the peak on Bitcoin. Do you know there's over 200,000 people now have lost money buying the Trump coin? So while some people made some money and got out, and I guess Binance is one of those, you know, I'm sure Binance took a big chunk of Trump tokens and maybe they managed to offload them. I don't know, but that's usually the way they work. But it's basically the retailers who lost out on this because everyone was all excited and euphoric, buying this Trump coin. Trump's just won. They're going to buy the Trump coin, and look what's happened to them. They've been battered. They've lost 80% of their money. All those people who got in up there lost 80%. Very painful. There's nothing, no utility behind the Trump coin. It's purely a meme coin. We know it's highly speculative. So if you were exposed to it, hopefully it wasn't more than you can afford. Because you shouldn't be putting, I don't believe you should put more than you can afford into any meme coin unless it develops utility and becomes useful. Meme coins are nothing but basically a pump and dump as far as I'm concerned. Different matter for some other coins. For example, Ondo is a great one. You know, we can see it's even risen recently with the market, and I think it's got good use case behind it. One Harmony is a different case. I'm just jumping around a few little ones. Again, I'm just really suspicious of this One Harmony price action. I mean, just look at this. Again, this is 4-hour chart. Every candlestick is the same magnitude. This is market making textbook. It's not organic price. I don't think there's very little real buying and selling, organic buying and selling going on behind this. And it's gone on ever since they had a crisis. They were hacked, and I think it was $100 million was hacked from the chain, from their liquidity. Ever since that, I think One Harmony has just been a zombie coin. Yes, it's still there, still alive, and some people still trade it up and down. And you know, there could be some recovery scenario where people come in and revitalize the token, but for the time being, this is just very, very indicative of market making. In other words, it's fake price movement, fake buying and selling just to maintain liquidity, to maintain the appearance of liquidity, but there's no real liquidity there. So yeah, there's some, you know, you do need to do your due diligence about various tokens to see which ones are good and bad. I think I've gone on long enough today, so hope that was helpful anyway. Look forward to catching up tomorrow, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.
The great Matt Dixon with the Market Watch report. I'll tell you what, I didn't listen to that first. Of course, we normally do the show a little bit earlier, but I had, one daughter was sick and the other daughter was this and that and the other. And frankly, my entire crew, between this whole tragic plane crash and the flu, has been a little rough around here. I'm like the last man standing. Okay, I'm the last man standing. Now, I take my ivermectin every other day or so. I put it in my Cabernet, and that seems to be keeping me steady. But I woke up this morning and everybody was kind of sick and this and that. And Matt had sent in the recording, so I had the option of pushing the show. And I thought to myself, you know what, why don't I just take these few extra Z's here and make sure that I'm healthy. And so that's what I did. And of course, doing the show at a later time is sometimes a lot of fun too, because we get to see a different audience while we're live. I have with me here coming up my friend Brady Williams. He's getting on StreamYard right now, which is what we use to host this. So Brady Williams will be joining us. He has these jet cars, and these things are really cool. I mean, these things are super cool. I actually might even, I can wait. So there's some announcements, of course, that we'll make while he joins us, having to do with Miami and everything else. But while we're waiting for that, let's talk about Elon Musk and what is going on with the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. I mean, this is absolutely amazing what we are seeing here. Unbelievable. I never thought it would go this fast. I mean, that's what I talked about yesterday in my short clip when I was downtown. The amount of fraud and the amount of money that was just being stolen from us. And guys, this is the scary part, okay? And we talk about the market analysis and everything else. Even though, yes, I see that with the charting and everything else that the market should push up, I'm actually fairly bearish at the moment, because if all of this money is coming out of circulation, if the U.S. Treasury is normally printing up $6 trillion and sending it throughout the world for different things, and now it's going to print up instead $4 trillion because we're saving this $2 trillion, then that has me pretty worried in a way. I mean, worried is a relative term, that we are going to have a currency crash. People aren't going to have the money. I mean, you got to figure $2 trillion. I mean, over 30% of the dollars that go into circulation every year are now being pulled out of circulation. That is a lot. That is a lot. I can't even, it's hard to even get your head around. So with that money is being used, sure, maybe it's being used for nefarious purposes, but that money makes its way around into the system and into risk assets. That's what the great Ron Paul said. He said that aid in this aid that we give around to people is nothing more than taking money from poor people in the United States and giving it to wealthy people over around the world. And that's true, because what they do is they take the value from you, and that's why your house value goes up, the inflation goes up, eggs go up, Bitcoin goes up, everything is going up. They're taking the money from you, they're giving it to wealthy people, and wealthy people are doing what? They're buying things that wealthy people do. Stocks, Bitcoin, real estate, all of these types of things. So it remains to be seen how it's all going to play out, and I certainly don't have a crystal ball. But the warning signs are just going off in my head, because I'm here in Washington, D.C. I know people that are, of course, getting laid off, or at least they say they are, or, this and that and the other. And so these people right now are not going to have a check, or maybe they take one of these, things that Elon Musk offered, where they can decide to, take their 8 months severance pay and stuff like this. So they're going to have money for 8 more months, but then that's going to dry up, and they know during this time that that money's going to dry up, so they're probably not going to spend it maybe like they would. Then if you look at also the wave counts, right? All right, we should be in this final push up, which we probably will get to. We'll probably get to the new all-time highs, but then the pullback, if everything continues like this, will be crazy. And that, I think, is another reason why Matt is saying that he thinks that the money printing will continue, and that is his prediction, that he thinks that the money printing will continue. And we'll see how it all plays out. But it is absolutely amazing, what is going on. I mean, I'm just like repost after repost after repost on his Twitter, because it's just on and on and on. I mean, and the waste and the fraud that they are discovering and stopping is something else as well. Some of his people were seen going into the FBI building, and we all know the FBI. It comes out that the FBI, as a matter of fact, of their 13,000 FBI people or something, 5,000 of them were assigned to work on the January 6th deal. Absurd amount of resources put into people like myself who were supporting the president, who were peacefully, were there peacefully, and so anyway, obviously I didn't go in anywhere, and we left early. So that's probably why I never heard anything from anybody. But that was a mostly peaceful protest, and by all indications, it was them that caused all the fuss. You need to enter here. I sent him the wrong link. Hold on a second. You need to enter here, Brady. I was wondering what he's taking him so long. I must have sent somebody else the wrong link. Here's the link. Enter here. Okay. Maybe he was sending the link to himself. So this is Brady Williams. Brady and I have done quite a number of things together. He was involved. I think he actually even came to our very first Washington Elite Summit, if not the first one, one of the first ones. And we have danced around a bit. And it's one of those things, some people you kind of dance around with, and you try to get this together, or you try to get that together, you try to get this together. And with him, I say it is gonna happen. And certainly now we have come together on this event in Miami. Hello, Mr. Brady S. Williams. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Bruce? How you doing, man?
Doing great. You're looking good.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but we're here. We're here again.
Good. Now, I may hear a little bit of feedback. It's not that bad. It's not enough to stop anything. But if you have the feed anywhere else open, make sure that you close it.
Definitely. Let's see. I think that's.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
It just sounded like if there was something open, that would be. One of our friends here from YouTube says, "Welcome, Brady S. Williams." So, Brady and I, as I mentioned, we've done a number of things together. We've danced around. We've actually put some work together, and then it kind of pittered off and this and that. He's a very successful guy out in Texas. He's done a lot of different things with tires and cycling and all these types of things. And this latest venture is with the jet cars. And so I wanted to bring him on the show because we are bringing the jet cars to Miami to the Global Family Office Investment Summit. And we're going to have a lot of fun here. So tell me a little bit about the jet cars. If you can share, do you know how to share your screen and stuff like that? Tell us a little bit about what you have going on.
Well, I will tell you, I did send a couple photos and images.
Okay, I can definitely load those up.
I will talk while you're pulling them up. Sorry to ask, but yeah. Again, my name is Brady S. Williams. I've worked with Bruce for quite some time, on and off, doing some fun stuff. Being able to show up to Washington Elite Summit, I think that's where we first met, up in DC for that first one. It was awesome. And throughout the years, we've had all kinds of different things we've looked at. The neat one that I've done recently is work with Jim Jet Nielsen. The guy's 72 and is still moving fast. He's actually traveling about 400 to 500 miles an hour with his jet cars. So what's neat about that is I've been able to work with him. I'm his business manager, and we now have 3 jet cars here in Texas, and it's really cool. We just imported the last one from Panama.
Hold on. Is this him? Is this him right here?
That's me and Jim. Yeah, that's me and Jim. That was at our last fire up there over at the Trump inauguration over in Bernie, Texas airport. And it was awesome. We had a big show out, and it was awesome. I mean, that jet car kicks on, and that fire's shooting up from the back. I mean, it gets everybody excited. Of course, you can't do that over in Miami. We don't have the clearance and the space to do that.
Oh, come on.
Those planes can jump up to about 50 feet and on one of the engines. They have 4 Phantom jet engine can go up to 50 feet. This one's a little bit smaller. Yeah. And this one, what they did is they have a jet engine, and they made it look like a tank. So this one's called the Secret Weapon, and it's a 450 mile an hour jet car, that is. And that's Jim right there.
Hold on. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's something else. It's fun. It's really cool. You know, he actually holds the world record on pavement with tires from back in '91 out in Vegas on the highway when they first opened it up. He actually was able to get permitting to be able to try to break the world record, and so he actually has the fastest speed on record on a public highway at 404 miles an hour with his jet car back in '91. That was with his jet limo. And so all kinds of cool stuff
there. The jet limo right here.
Yeah. And so that one was back in the 90s. He was even on an issue of Playboy with his clothes on, with his jet car. So it was really cool.
With his clothes on.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's the one of them. That's the that one's the top of the line one. That's the one we're most excited about. That has an F4 Phantom jet engine in it with 50,000 horsepower, and it travels with a top speed of 707 miles an hour.
Oh my God!
That's fast. That's not walking speed. And that's Jim himself. That's one of his first jet cars that he had after his career finished retirement. He built that one up, and then here's the other one, and there's the. So those are the 3 we have here in Texas, and so we're going to be pulling in more sponsors for more events. We have a few partnerships with some of the airports here in Texas where we're going to be doing more fire ups and events that can bring in more people. So we're pulling in sponsors to do more events and host them out. So
that's
cool
awesome.
stuff.
One of the reasons I know we've talked, of course, we're expanding the amount of TV stations that we're buying. And it seems like a nice way, because it's one thing, you know, with the last crew that we were kind of working with, we had these TV stations, but they never advertised the TV stations. So you got to advertise the TV stations. You have to drive people to TV stations, because the way it works is too, like on this antenna TVs, like you have channel 20, but it's channel 20.1, 20.2, 20.3, all these little substations going on there. There's tons of channels. I mean, here in Washington, D.C., you plug in your antenna, you have lots of channels. And so you have to advertise that you're there. You got to use billboards. You got to use the internet. You have to tell people that you're there. And I think this would be a great way to do it as well.
I'll tell you that. This beats out any billboard. I'll tell you that. When it sits still, if it's moving, you can't.
Yeah, moving, you can't see anything. Well, that's what I'm really excited about. Of course, we're going to park this thing out in front of the Trump International Resort during the Global Office Investment Summit. Yeah, Family Office Investment Summit. We're super excited about it as well. Park out in front of the League Waterfront Lounge in Miami for the after party and be able to really advertise not only you, but advertise us, advertise the TV show, advertise the TV stations, and of course our friends there at the Global Family Office Investment Summit.
That's awesome. That's what we're excited about. Jim's excited. He's already getting more of his shirts ready, so he can start signing shirts and handing them out. He's excited. He's taking a nap right now. I mean, he's 72, but he said let me know when.
I like taking naps too.
Yeah, I know. Don't we all?
Yeah, naps are great. I don't get to take them as much, although I did take one this morning, which kind of enabled this show. I do kind of like this slot. I like the early morning slot because I get it done and everything else, but it is nice to have a little bit of a later slot as well. So
have a little coffee, watch some other shows and news, and then hop on. That's cool too.
Well, as we're growing, of course, we're going to have opportunities for a lot more shows. You're going to see a lot more of those jet cars. I'll tell you that. Really excited to see you in Miami. It's going to be a while. I guess it's been a while. The last time we were in Miami together, we had the Versace mansion, and we had the El Dorado. We had what's his name?
We had there was a Slim Stunner was there.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide.
Worldwide, Pitbull.
We rented out Pitbull.
That was awesome.
The El Dorado. It was awesome, and we did kind of a conference there in the middle of the nightclub. It really was pretty interesting. And then, of course, the after event was always kind of our most exceptional thing there at the Versace. Really wonderful. I'll tell you this: I was going around looking at putting together our roadshow over the next 6 months to a year, and it is amazing, Brady, at the void of events that are here in the United States. And so I think you're going to see us put on a few more events as well. Of course, we'll collaborate on them. We do have the UN blockchain week coming up that we do every year. That's the end of September. But we're going to probably be doing more events, because here's the thing. In years past, I had to travel around the world to meet people. People wanted to, it was hard to do business here, but now everybody wants to do the business here.
Oh, yeah.
They all want to be here.
It's going to keep happening that way too, and we're going to keep it that way.
What's that? And we're going to keep it that way.
We're going to have more people out here doing business and want to come out here.
Well, in Texas, you're out there in Texas. Everybody's moving to Texas. All of them are incorporating in Texas. Why are they incorporating in Texas? What's the thought behind that?
I think the taxes is one of them that pulls a lot of people in. I think also culturally, I think it's just a lot more accepting to a lot of people that are looking for a certain type of vibe and environment that they expect in their own states right now across the country. And this is, I don't want to call it the final frontier, but it's pretty dang nice to come out here and have some land and do what you want on your land. There's a lot less red tape when you want to get something done. I'll tell you that, because I was in California. I was in Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach area, and the amount of it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of red tape to do anything with your own land is, pales in comparison when you consider how Texas is and how free it is.
Special permit. I can tell you that. I was like,
smarter than he can explain. Why everyone's moving.
Yeah, I thought about getting some chickens. I thought, let's get some chickens. When I was a kid, we had chickens. And you got to get a special permit. And
really?
Crazy. Oh yeah.
I just bought 20 more.
The swamp, man. The swamp. I know the kids love them. The foxes love them too. They get one every once in a while, and
you just pull out your shotgun and blow them up.
Yeah, exactly. It's a circle of life.
Yeah, no, we got donkeys. We got the tax breaks for having livestock on the property, all that. So easy enough.
Well, Brady has an absolutely beautiful family. He's got a beautiful wife, wonderful family, and hats off to you, man. Really excited about working together. We're going to have you on the show more often as well. Thanks for coming on, and we're going to take these jet cars worldwide. Talking about Mr. Worldwide, we're going worldwide, brother.
That's right. We're doing it. So Bruce, appreciate you having us on. thanks for letting us show a little bit about the jet car, and I look forward to advertising and having a lot of fun with what we're going to be doing in Miami.
Do you have a website or something you can send people to?
Yeah, if you want to check us out, one of the easiest places, best of all, websites are cool, but social media is always easier. Just follow Brady S. Williams on TikTok, X, or on Instagram, and you'll be seeing more as we drop it out there. JimJet58 is his profile. It's kind of hard to find him. I guess 72, so we're revamping all the socials. So just check out Brady S. Williams on TikTok, X, and Instagram, and then you'll get the latest as we do more stuff.
Awesome, brother. All right, well, we'll be talking soon.
Thank you.
You're the man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. Later, guys. Bye.
Hey, Randy, I got another home run for us, man. This 2-bit exchange is absolutely amazing.
Hey, Bruce, what's up, man? Yeah, why don't you tell me about that 2-bit exchange?
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be able to list our coins that we want that we support, and they're going to be on this amazing derivatives platform. It's absolutely awesome.
Derivatives? I love derivatives. I can't wait to be on the trade copy program.
So what I want you to do is set up an account and then send me your UID, and let's set you up with a trade copy system, and you just let it run. Copy our trades. That's it. Easy peasy.
So you want me to open an account, send you my user ID, and you hook me up with the trade copy system. I can't wait. Sounds spectacular.
Hey, Matt. Hey, listen, I met with the guys at 2-Bit Exchange while I was in Dubai, and this platform really looks amazing.
Yeah, hi Bruce. Yeah, thank you again for that heads up. I mean, I've looked into this 2-bit platform. It does appear to have everything we're looking for.
Yeah, that's right. 2-Bit, Toobit. They have great liquidity. They have futures platform. There's a lot of functionality that I think you're going to like on there. And they really want to work with us. They want to work with the Impact Money Show. And as you and I both know, if they have a good product and they want to work with us, well, hey, that's half the battle.
I mean, basically, I love that copy trade facility. I love the features on the platform. It's basically very simple to use.
Our viewers only need to set it up to copy our trades, and they just do all the trades that we do. Makes it really easy for people to participate. I think they're going to love it. I'm pretty excited about it.
And yeah, it's definitely going to benefit people. I mean, obviously with all the years of experience that we can pack into it, and people can basically benefit from that. Yeah, I definitely think it's a goer.
Hey, David. Yeah, man, I'm excited about it too. I mean, when you think of the ways that we can help our viewers earn money and be able to participate in the monetary revolution, this 2-Bit platform just opens up all kinds of doors that they don't have right now.
Hey, Bruce, I'm checking out this platform. It's revolutionary.
That's absolutely correct. And the futures platform is amazing. Great liquidity. And the copy trader program, people are going to be able to make the trades exactly when we make them and make the money that we make. It's a win-win for everybody.
Open for U.S. customers, and you can deposit money with a credit or debit card. Doesn't get better than this.
Beautiful. And what do you think we should use as a referral code?
I think we should use Impact Money. That's the one. Impact Money.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.